Hello, my name is Denise Coleman, and I will be talking about the history of high heels. So, women's platform shoes are thought to have originated with prostitutes in Venice in the 1400s. The shoes, which reached heights up to 18 inches, raised a woman above her rivals and gave her a sensuous gait for prospective clients. Eventually, they became popular among the aristocracy, both in Italy and the Ottoman Empire. Modern-day high heels can be traced back to 15th century Persia, when soldiers wore them to help secure their feet in stirrups. The first documented wearer of European high heels is Queen Elizabeth I. She was painted wearing a pair in the late 1500s, and clothing historian Janet Arnold records a list of the Queen's clothes from 1595 to include a pair of Spanish leather shoes with high heels and arches. But King Louis XIV is famous for popularizing the trend in the 1600s. He is frequently depicted in red-heeled and red-soled shoes, the highest symbol of nobility that King Louis reserved only for himself and those in his circle of nobles. Heels in the French court at Versailles were an important status symbol and were restricted to nobility. Height and elevation indicated class, status, and privilege in the European courts. Aristocratic women also participated in the trend. Men and women's shoe styles were roughly the same until about 1660. After that point, men's shoes tend to be more practical, while women's shoes became more ornate, with silks, brocades, braids, and velvet. Women wore heels to show off their extravagant dress fabric. The longer the dress and the more lavish the fabric used, the wealthier the wearer. Color coding was also used to identify superiority and privilege. In the late 18th century, there was a drop in popularity of high heels due to Marie Antoinette. Heels became associated with the excess and overabundance of French nobility. Women and men turned to slippers instead, reserving a shoe with a slight heel for evening attire. The primary footwear of the 19th century was the boot. As factories sprung up during the Industrial Revolution, a new longing for the natural landscape drew the elite to country homes. Walking became a popular recreational activity, and boots became a necessity. By the middle of the 19th century, shoes were being mass-produced because of the new sewing technology, and high heels came back into fashion. This version focused more on a curved instep, which is supposed to show a woman's femininity and elegance. It also focused on height, as the higher the heel, the smaller the foot would appear. By the end of the 19th century, high heels were often as high as 6 inches and became more comfortable. With the introduction of Technicolor in the 1930s, its first big production using the color process was in 1939 with The Wizard of Oz. Dorothy's ruby red slippers are among the most unforgettable items of film memorabilia. Coveted by an evil witch, the shoes take Dorothy on an otherworldly adventure, and in the end become the key to taking her home. In L. Frank Baum's original novel, The Wonderful Wizard of Oz, Dorothy wears silver shoes. However, the color of the shoes were changed to red to take advantage of the new Technicolor film process. Dorothy's infamously red and sparkly heels brought mysticism and magic to the clothing accessory. A few years later, Disney's Cinderella followed suit in bringing magic back to the high heel. Although the story has many origins, her iconic slippers are always splendid and represent the importance, power, and magic of shoes. In the movie, they are made only for her and grant her a special place among royalty. Her shoe becomes her trademark and reunites her with her Prince Charming. In the 40s and 50s, the stiletto heel, nicknamed the killer heel, became popular. This is in part to new technology that enabled more stability in the heel with the use of steel and other metals. World War II led to the popularization of pin-up girl posters, which men would often hang in their bunks while at war. Almost all of these girls were pictured wearing high heels, leading to an increase in the relationship between high heels and female sexuality. Other than the mysticism and thrilling characteristics of the shoe, there is a biological reason behind their attraction. The high heel adds stress to the hips and back. This results in women having to sway their hips to overcompensate and protrude their chests for balance. These are all biological mating attractions. Today, heels continue to be a staple in wealth and attractiveness. No longer reserved for nobility, they are the most popular form of shoe worn amongst women, and there is no sign of the trend ceasing. Thank you.